الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذ ابتلى إبراهيم ربه بكلمات فأتمهن قال إني جاعلك للناس إماما قال ومن ذريتي قال لا ينال عهد الظالمين صدق الله العظيم. Regarding ayat number 124 of Surat al-Baqarah, we were discussing the background related to the qissa and story of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam. When it comes to shirk, associating partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Shaitan, he has throughout history misled mankind in very strange ways. These tactics of Shaitan, they have been used to, or Shaitan has used these tactics to use mankind's own intellect against them. Often a time we find very intelligent people, very intellectual people, they make great blunders in their calculations, especially if they are arrogant or their intelligence is mixed with the arrogance. By the time they're ready to ask for help, or they're ready to admit that they've made a mistake, it is already too late, many a times. At the time of Nuh alayhi salam, we have already gone over the background and the steps towards which Shaitan made mankind indulge in shirk and get involved in shirk, in the disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and in associating partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Nuh alayhi salam to all of mankind at that time. Humanity was not that large in number, but that was his qawm of Nuh alayhi salam. He gave them da'wah for a very long time, but they were not ready to listen. And after 950 years of da'wah, the time that he spent with his qawm, with his nation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made a decision to destroy that qawm because they were not ready to accept iman, they were not ready to change. After the flood of Nuh alayhi salam, there was 80 or 82 people that believed in Nuh alayhi salam, including his sons. Nuh alayhi salam, he had 4 sons. One of his sons were drowned in the flood, and the other 3 sons, they believed in their father, they believed in Nuh alayhi salam, so they were also saved. Humanity then sprung or ended up again multiplying in the world through the children of these 3 sons of Nuh alayhi salam. That is one of the titles given to Nuh alayhi salam, is that he is known as Adam Thani, the second Adam, because all of humanity even now traces their lineage back to one of the 3 sons of Nuh alayhi salam. Mankind again fell into shirk and disobedience after Nuh alayhi salam left, and he went back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He passed from this world. And when mankind fell back into shirk, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Anbiya alayhimus salam, prophets and messengers. There were two famous aqwam, two famous nations that came before Ibrahim alayhi salam. One was the Qawm of Ad. They were a very, very powerful nation. And they took pride in their great forefather Ad. Ad was the son of Aus. Aus was the son of Aram. Aram was the son of Sam. Sam was the son of Nuh alayhi salam. So they had almost a direct link to Nuh alayhi salam. But this nation also, they were very arrogant and they started oppressing the other nations. They also involved in shirk and disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in associating partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They also had a very powerful king. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent to them Hud alayhi salam. And because of their disobedience, they were destroyed. We'll give the details when we get to their story. After the Qawm of Ad, there came the Qawm of Thamud. They were a very, very powerful nation that were very skilled in architectural design and construction. They had built their homes, malls, businesses, everything inside mountains. It's not like the mountains of Afghanistan, Tora Bora or something. This is totally different. Okay? This was a whole different kind of system that they had built. Just remember that in the year 2020, March 2nd, the Taliban have become good guys now in the eyes of America. They're not terrorists. Okay? They're only terrorists when it's written that they are. Otherwise, they're good people. So at least that's what our president said. Strange, we don't know what he says, but so the Tora Bora mountains, they have tunnels inside there, but this is a whole different kind of architectural design. If you ever get a chance, they don't allow too much tourism in the area. This is 450 kilometers north of Medina in Saudi, and they're known as Madain Salih. Madain Salih, the cities of Salih alayhi salam. But they had amazing architectural design. And what is very strange about their design, we were given a chance to see it, is that they built all of these amazing structures inside the mountains. And sometimes the one house is huge boulders. And these boulders are almost the size of mountains. Unbelievable kind of skill this Qawm had. One can be amazed how they did that without even today's technology. Even today's technology can't do that. We build buildings after 100 years. They're in a totally different condition. And their structures have been standing for these thousands of years. And strong. You don't feel any kind of that they're going to collapse on you in any way. But on top of the doors of their structures, they also had images, which means that they were also involved in shirk. One of the main images that they had is an eagle. And if you want to know exactly how the eagle is drawn, you take the $1 bill and you flip it backwards. And there's an eagle there also. No, there's no conspiracies. Disclaimer, we're not going to go into the conspiracies people get into. There's just an eagle there on top of the doors, and the people of that time worship. That Qawm has been gone for thousands of years. But that was the kind of almost exact replica structure, that picture that they have on top of most of their doors. There are other idols that Qawm Thamud also used to worship. Coming to the qissa of Ibrahim alayhi salam now. After Qawm Thamud was destroyed, mankind was moving on. There were other civilizations that came about. Shaitan started making people believe that everything happens by itself. This idea of science nowadays, where everything happens by itself, this is not something new. This has always been there. And what I'm going to explain at the time of Ibrahim alayhi salam, you will see it happening now. And we might be thinking how, everything that is being explained is just talking about something happening now. What is this taking the story from now and applying it then? No, this is not the case. The case of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He tells us in the Quran, وَتَوَاصَوْا بِهِ بَلْ هُمْ قَوْمٌ طَاغُونَ. That all of these nations, when the Anbiya alayhimus salam used to come to these nations, every single nation used to use the same kind of taunting terms. They They used to taunt their prophets with the same words. And they used to accuse their Anbiya alayhim salam in the same way. And the kufr and disbelief of these nations was almost the same. They used to follow one another almost in the same way. So these aqwam, these nations, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, أَتَوَاسَوْا بِهِمْ. Were they giving one another advice? Did one nation tell another nation after them? How is it that one nation knew exactly what the other nation before them did and almost followed that other nation in the footsteps exact? It's because they had the same teacher, shaitan. This is why. So whatever you see going on today, what is amazing is that we have already been told about this by the Mufassirin and the ulama of Tafseer. And the Quran has already explained these details. So shaitan came to the people and told them that there is nothing but time. Everything happens by itself. The phenomena of time is the thing that is controlling everything happening by itself. And it's amazing when they start talking that there was nothing and then there was these two atoms and they crashed into one another. Now science tells us, mashallah, this fairy tale that I could give you a better fairy tale. Anyhow, they crashed into one another and then how many billions of years passed, and after billions of years more atoms came and then there was an explosion. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. So just believe in Allah. You even believe in two atoms. So where do the two atoms come from? So just believe in Allah. Anyhow. So first shaitan makes this human being believe that everything happens by itself, no matter how intellectual and how intelligent a person may be, and no matter even they're able to prove it to themselves, with all their science, with all their mathematics, with all of their school skills and tools, they're able to prove that what they believe is wrong, they still don't give up their belief. You can prove to them with all of the formulas you want. They will not be ready to give it up. This is what shaitan did to mankind at that time as well. They believe it happens by itself. We come and we go, there's nothing else. Only thing that is happening is the phenomena of time. That is what is destroying us. وَمَا يُهْلِكُنَا إِلَّا الدَّهْرِ. This is not a new claim. They say the only thing destroying us is time. This was there, this is there now also. Shaitan is using the same tactics. Why? Because we humans are gullible. You have 100 children. You can use the same trick against all of them. They'll all fall for it. So shaitan has the same trick for all of humanity. Once he made people believe that there is nothing and everything happens by itself, then there are phenomena in this world that your own logic cannot comprehend that this can happen by itself. Extraordinary phenomena outside the realm of human explanation. There are many phenomena like this. Now we have a virus going on. They call it a pandemic. I don't know if they've called it that yet. They'll call it that after it passes. So there's this pandemic going on. It's affected the whole world. There are other phenomena, massive fires going on that are beyond human explanation. Ice caps are melting. They're calling it global warming, whatever they want to call it. They have other phenomena they cannot explain. They don't have an accurate explanation for. This was there at that time as well. So what shaitan does is that he tells the people that these particular kind of incidents, especially extraordinary incidents, they always happen because of the appearance of some particular celestial body. Some star appears in the sky, and then this incident happens. So they associate the happening of that incident with that star. Our human imagination knows no limit. The kind of connections that we can make, ya subhanallah. So we make these associations. And there was this massive earthquake, or there was this massive storm, or there was this massive outbreak, or there were these massive events that happened. But on the day that that event started, there was a particular star in a particular position. And now we start. Yes, 10,000 years ago, this star appeared in this position and a similar event happened. Who can prove that? But they make you believe that this star, anytime this star appears, so this kind of massive event will happen. Then they go further. Yes, a particular other star appears. So then there will be a good year. Another star appears, there will be a bad year. And now all of a sudden stars have power. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Shaitan doesn't stop there. This happened at the time of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam. Remember, I'm telling you his story. I'm not telling you her story. The time of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam. So the people started believing this star has this power and this star. Then they also gave these stars particular elements, particular powers. And also this concept and idea of good and evil started being explained by human beings. There was a concept of good, that it is something that is light and people can see with it. And the leader of that good is the sun. And evil, darkness. Evil is darkness. The darkness brings with it destruction. The leader of darkness is the moon. So you have the sun on one side, which is supposed to represent good. You have the moon on the other side representing evil. So there's always this tussle of good and bad. Sometimes the good starts winning, days are longer. Sometimes the bad starts winning, the nights are longer. And in the 21st century, we also have daylight saving time to help them, mashallah. That part I added. Okay. We can even add the hours and subtract the hours to help them a little bit more, you know. Because only in America do we believe that if we change the time on our watch, the time actually changes. Okay. Coming back to the qissa of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam. So there was this tussle between good and evil, and any outside of that unnatural phenomena was associated with stars. But now we human beings, we know how far away these elements are. Scientists are telling us how far away the sun is. They say 96 million miles. It takes 8 seconds for the sun, 8 minutes for the sunlight to reach this earth. I don't know how they calculated that. And then the moon is how many 200,000 miles away, or how many thousands of miles away. And then all of the celestial bodies, and then the stars, mashallah, how far away they are. How many million light years. And how much is 1 light year. Strange numbers. Anyhow, Allahu A'lam what the truth behind all of that is. What is clear is that these are very, very far away. Beyond our ability to access them in any way. So what shaitan made human beings understand is that on this earth that we have, there are rocks and stones that came from the earth, and there are rocks and stones that came from out of space. We know about meteors, meteorites, and asteroids. And we know now that these are remnants of dead stars. Some star died how many millions of years ago, and the remnants of that star, in the form of iron, turned into these rocks. That ended up spreading throughout the universe, all throughout the galaxies, and pieces of that star also came to this earth in the form of meteors, meteorites, and asteroids. This being a reality, and we human beings understanding that there are rocks and elements on this earth that are not from this earth. So shaitan made humanity believe that if you want access to that star, pieces of that star is with you. And now they started making idols out of those meteors or meteorites or those rocks. And then shaitan put in the aqidah and the belief of mankind that if you worship this particular idol, you'll get this benefit, and that particular idol will give you that benefit. And then there were the untouchable idols. Those idols that represented the celestial bodies which have always been at war, good and bad. You had the big star, the big idol representing the sun, and another big idol representing the moon, and then all of the other idols. This is how idol worship started at the time of Ibrahim alayhi salam. You might be thinking idol worship is far-fetched. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam told us, amongst the ashratu sa'a, amongst the signs of the Day of Judgment, is that idol worship will come back. People will worship idols. And I'm not just talking about the Hindus or the Buddhists. And there are many others that worship idols. But this will happen throughout the world. And it's happening even in this society. Science is slowly going towards that. Yes, they're now making people believe in what the Greeks used to believe in. There's a lot of different ways to put in the minds and the hearts of the people the belief in those kind of strange ideas and strange aqaid. So this happened at the time of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam. And his people used to worship these 3 major celestial bodies. There was the Kawkab, which actually translates to planet or planetary system. And Kawkab is also a star. Anything outside of the sun and the moon is referred to as Kawkab. The second is the moon. And the most powerful of them was the sun. Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam in the Quran, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions his da'wah, there are two elements to his da'wah. One da'wah he gave to his qawm, and the second da'wah he gave to his father. His father was also a mushrik. His father used to worship idols. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the da'wah of Ibrahim alayhi salam to both parties. On one side, the whole qawm in the nation, and on the other side, his own father. These are the two types of da'wah that are mentioned in the Quran. When it comes to his father, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives a detailed discussion, a debate, an argument that happened, or a debate that happened between Ibrahim alayhi salam and his father. And Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was just giving da'wah to his father. But his father, with great force and kind of anger, turned against Ibrahim alayhi salam. That is mentioned in Surah Maryam. That is mentioned in Surah Maryam. Coming to the da'wah that Ibrahim alayhi salam gave to his qawm, it is mentioned in a few places in the Quran. Most significant, particularly to what I'm talking about, the worship of the stars, the worship of the moon, the worship of the sun, and then the idols and idolatry, that is particularly mentioned in Surah Al-An'am. It is mentioned in Surah Al-An'am. But his da'wah is mentioned in other places in the Quran as well. It is also mentioned in Surah Al-Anbiya. It is also mentioned in Surah Al-Anbiya. Also in Surah Al-Shu'ara. In Surah Al-Shu'ara. And also in Surah Al-Saffat. In Surah Al-Saffat. And a few other places in the Quran. The da'wah of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam is mentioned. Coming particularly just to the aspect of shirk, where Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was dealing with his qawm and his nation, and making them understand the evil of the shirk that they were doing. So in Surah Al-An'am, this is what we will discuss. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the name of the father of Ibrahim alayhi salam also. وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ لِأَبِيهِ آزَرَ تَتَّخِذُ أَصْنَامًا آلِهَةً. Important was the time when Ibrahim alayhi salam said to his father Azar, وَتَتَّخِذُ أَصْنَامًا آلِهَةً. Have you taken these asnam? Have you taken these idols as your gods? إِنِّي أَرَاكَ وَقَوْمَكَ فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. Definitely I see you and your qawm. You've gone very astray, very clear error. And these idols don't have any power. So first the da'wah mentioned, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala again mentioned in Surah Al-An'am. First is da'wah to his own father. Then coming to the da'wah to his qawm. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, وَكَذَلِكَ نُرِي إِبْرَاهِيمَ مَلَكُوتَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَلِيَكُونَ مِنَ الْمُوقِنِينَ. And we had already shown Ibrahim alayhi salam the malakut of the heavens and the earth. And this is very, very important because Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was muwahhid from the very beginning. He believed in the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the very beginning. And he had already seen the system of this universe. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him wahi and made him understand. But here, malakut as-samawati wal-ard, this term, I know we're coming out of Surat Al-Baqarah, but it's important that we understand this qissa. The malakut of the heavens and the earth mentioned in Surah Al-An'am, this is actually a rabat and connection coming back to Surah Al-Baqarah. In Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us towards the end of Surah Al-Baqarah, after Ayat Al-Kursi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that a time came when Ibrahim alayhi salam, he made a dua. And he made an amazing dua. His dua was, Rabbi arini kayfa tuhyi al-mawta. Oh Allah, show me how you give life to the dead. Kind of things we make dua for. And what the Anbiya alayhi wasalam were making dua for. In our dua, mashallah, oh Allah, the first dua is about money, Everybody's a millionaire. This is the first dua. Mashallah, everybody got it, everybody smiled. It means everybody's making this dua. And then the second dua is that everybody obeys you because you want to be king. So first and foremost, your children and family and everyone should listen to you. Because that's the second problem everybody has. And then, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless humanity. Not that we care very much, but may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us. We should have care for humanity. So this is at least what our du'as are for. We care so much about our own world because this is the level of our yaqeen. Even we make this dua, we don't really have that much yaqeen that we'll ever get what we're really making dua for. Our dua, mashallah, it's to some degree very superficial. We're making dua on one side and the other side we're questioning how it's going to happen. Well, I don't know. Hajjaj bin Yusuf, he was the governor of Medina. He was a very brutal man. He was very, very brutal. He killed many Sahaba, but he became notorious for his brutality. Anyhow, he came from Medina to Makkah one time. He was doing Umrah. Just to explain to you the condition of our dua and what dua with sincerity and what our dua is. So he was doing tawaf, and in the mataf where you do the tawaf around the Kaaba, Baytullah, every time he was going around, there was a man sitting there holding on to the ghilaf and just kind of sitting there and just making dua, oh Allah, give me eyesight. Oh Allah, give me eyesight. We do dhikr. This was the person, the dhikr, Our dhikr, subhanallah, alhamdulillah, we repeat whatever. And this person, his dua and his dhikr was, oh Allah, give me eyesight. So Hajjaj bin Yusuf one time came around, this person would say, oh Allah, give me eyesight, give me eyesight, oh Allah, give me eyesight. Second time coming around, the guy was sitting there. Third time, fourth time. After 7 tawaf, Hajjaj bin Yusuf went up to this person. Said, I did 7 tawaf and you're sitting here, you're making this dua. What's wrong with you? The man, he said, I don't know who you are. I'm blind, leave me alone, go mind your own business. So Hajjaj bin Yusuf said, I am Hajjaj bin Yusuf. So the guy said, oh. So he said, I'm sorry, I didn't know it was you. I'm a blind man. I've been sitting here making dua for my eyesight. And I'm here. Hajjaj bin Yusuf asked him, for how long you been sitting here? He said, 10 years. Hajjaj bin Yusuf said, for 10 years, you're sitting here making dua for eyesight. And you're still blind. Man said, yes. He said, you're going through so much musibah, so much difficulty. Let me make your life easy. I tell you what, we just prayed Isha Salah. Inshallah, after Fajr Salah, if you don't have eyesight, I will relieve you of all of your problems. I will kill you. Don't worry. You won't have to worry about living a blind life anymore, The person said, oh my God. He said, no, you don't understand. Hajjaj bin Yusuf said, don't worry, this contract is done. Make whatever dua you want tonight. Tomorrow I'll see you, And he left. Now when your life is on the line, dua becomes very sincere, So this person started making dua, oh man, if I don't get my eyesight, I'm dead, Really sincerity. So in the morning, Hajjaj bin Yusuf came. And the man ran up to him. Oh Hajjaj, I can see. Big open eyes, I can see. Hajjaj bin Yusuf said, you see, for 10 years, you were making dua just sing-song, like, you didn't really realize what you were saying. But now that your life depends on it, now there's sincerity. So this is the reality of our dua also. Many times we're asking, I'm making dua, nothing is happening. How serious are we with our dua? Where is our hearts in the dua? Where is our yaqeen in the dua? We believe in the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Where is our yaqeen? So Ibrahim alayhi salam and the Anbiya alayhi salam, all of the Anbiya alayhi salam, go see their ad'iyah in the Quran. Amazing dua, ad'iyah that they have made. Every single Nabi. Some of them more amazing than others. How close they were to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What kind of dua did Ibrahim alayhi salam? He said, oh my Rabb, oh Allah, show me how you give life to the dead. What an amazing dua. Musa alayhi salam went one step more than that. Musa alayhi salam, he said, Rabbi arini anzur ilayk. That, oh Allah, I want to see you, show me yourself. That's a little too far. But the Anbiya alayhi salam, this is the kind of dua that they were making. The kind of qurb ila Allah. They wanted any way that their dua, that they could get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is a great lesson for all of us. And make dua for those things that will develop your yaqeen, your conviction, that you get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we'll come back to the malakut as-samawati wal ard and the dua of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us understanding and give all of us the tawfiq to practice His deen. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغِ. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم نور قلوبنا بالقرآن وزين أخلاقنا بالقرآن ونجنا من النار بالقرآن وادخلنا في الجنة بالقرآن اللهم اجعل القرآن لنا في الدنيا قرينا، وفي القبر مونسا، وعلى الصراط نورا، وفي الجنة رفيقا، ومن النار سترا وحجابا. اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون، وسلام على المرسلين، والحمد لله رب العالمين.